Excellencies, dear President Iohannis, dear President Duda, dear Mr. Secretary General, dear allies and friends, I am pleased to welcome all of you at the Bratysława Castle and to open Summit of Bucharest 9. When the B9 Summit was a year ago in Romania, we were united, but we also had some concerns about the development of Russian aggression in Ukraine and about the impact of energy crisis on our people, especially during the winter. A year later, it's clear that we are far more resilient than our opponents expected. As allies, we took the right decisions at the summit in Madrid to reinforce our presence on our eastern flank. This has reassured our people about our solidarity and that they are under protection of the strongest defense alliance. The last year has also demonstrated that the best way to restore peace in Europe is through our intensive support for Ukraine, which has successfully defended itself. Thanks to the Ukrainians' bravery and international support, Russia controls less territory than a year ago. We all want to end the human tragedy that the Ukrainians are experiencing on a daily basis. We all want to restore just peace. Our continued support for Ukraine is bringing us closer to this goal. So, today we have opportunity to discuss our priorities for summit in Vilnius. For example, what further steps we should take to ensure that the alliance and our citizens are safe and protected against any potential threats, because this is always our #1 priority. Second, how to further build on our unity and our resolve, because over the years they have made us safer and more resilient. Third, and how to continue our practical and political support for Ukraine, because there is no place for imperialism and aggression in Europe in the 21st century. Dear colleagues, once again, welcome to Slovakia. I would also like to thank the President of Romania and President of Poland for co-hosting this summit, and I'm looking forward to our discussions. Now I will give the floor to President Iohannis for opening remarks. Dear Klaus, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President, dear Susanna, dear colleagues, excellencies. First of all, thank you for inviting us to beautiful Bratislava and receiving us in such a nice manner. I'm very glad to meet all of you today here in Bratislava at the new meeting of the Bucharest 9. Our discussions today will address topics important both for the security on the eastern flank and for the security of the entire Euro-Atlantic area. Our coordination is highly relevant ahead of the NATO summit in Vilnius. The Bucharest 9 format keeps its added value. Solidarity, dialogue and cooperation are the roots of our common strength and resilience. Our joint vision is essential in identifying the means to strengthen deterrence and defense on NATO's eastern flank, from the Black Sea to the Baltic Sea, to the benefit of the entire transatlantic security. We, the NATO allies on the eastern flank, are on the front line in countering the negative effects of the devastating war unleashed by Russia, with multiple security, humanitarian, economic, food and energy implications. Romania is the NATO ally with the longest border with Ukraine, and we clearly understand the need to strengthen our national defense and further consolidate NATO's posture on the eastern flank in a unitary and coherent, credible and robust manner, including at the Black Sea. This effort is one of transatlantic scale and scope. We must ensure that the decisions adopted in Madrid last year are fully implemented. And I include here as well the decisions related to the strategic importance of the Black Sea region for the Euro-Atlantic security. We will continue to support Ukraine for as long as it takes. Ukraine prevailing in this war is our main goal. At the same time, Romania's support for Ukraine's accession to the alliance, as foreseen at the NATO summit 2008 in Bucharest, is ironclad. We also need to consolidate our support for NATO's vulnerable partners, especially for the Republic of Moldova, to consolidate its defense capabilities and its resilience. I'm sure that our discussions today will pave the way for a unified approach on the security in our region and for a successful Vilnius summit. For the time, thank you.
Thank you, Klaus. And now I will give the floor President of Poland, President Duda. Dear Andrzej, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Madam President, dear Presidents, Mr. Secretary General, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, Zuzana, Madam President, thank you very much for having organized another Bucharest 9 summit and for your invitation to Bratysława. Just a few months ago, on the 22nd of February, we met in Warsaw at a special B9 summit participated by the President of the United States and NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. I'm glad that we can continue our exchange of views today, especially that as soon as in 1 month we are going to meet at the NATO summit in Vilnius, which will play a key role in boosting the security of our region. Ladies and gentlemen, it's beyond any doubt that as Eastern Flag members of NATO, we are directly affected by the situation in Ukraine and by the brutal Russian aggression. Also, actions of the Lukashenko regime in Belarus are destabilizing the security situation across the region. Hybrid attacks on our borders, using Belarusian bases to launch attacks on Ukraine, or the decision to deploy Russian nuclear weapons in the territory of Belarus. These are the challenges which we have to address jointly. That's why we must do our best to make sure that the security of NATO's eastern flank and that of Ukraine remain high on the political agenda of all members of the alliance. We must be consistent in strengthening our defense potential, modernizing our armed forces, implementing decisions of the past NATO summits, as well as do our best to strengthen Allied presence in the region. We also need to be consistent in our support for Ukraine, as Russia poses a permanent threat to our security. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, the NATO summit in Vilnius is approaching. We need to use it for setting ambitious goals, making important decisions and commitments. Let me stress once again that our common priority must consist in strengthening our security, the security of our citizens. What is more, we need to define a clear perspective of Ukraine's membership of the alliance. Thank you for an opportunity to open our meeting. I count on a fruitful discussion.
Thank you very much, Andrzej. And now, please, Mr. Secretary General, dear Jens, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Shabutova, dear Susanna, President Iohannis, President Duda, dear Presidents, Excellencies. It's really a big honor, a great honor for me to join you once again at the B9 meeting. This is an important platform, an important forum also to address issues which are extremely important for NATO. President Putin's unprovoked war of aggression against Ukraine has changed our security environment for the long term. Russia has shattered peace in Europe. The destruction of the Kakhovka Dam today puts thousands of civilians at risk and causes severe environmental damage. This is an outrageous act which demonstrates once again the brutality of Russia's war in Ukraine. The decisions we take at the NATO summit in Vilnius this July will be very significant. We will strengthen our support for Ukraine with a multi-year package of assistance to help them transition from Soviet era to NATO standards and bring Ukraine closer to NATO. All allies agree that NATO's door remains open, that Ukraine will become a member of the alliance, and that Russia does not have a veto. At Vilnius, we will also further strengthen our deterrence and defense. We will commit to our new defense plans, a new NATO force model with more troops at higher readiness, and stronger NATO command and control. We must also agree a stronger commitment to increase defense investments with 2% of GDP as a minimum. As we prepare for the Vilnius summit, I am also working hard to ensure that we welcome Sweden soon as a full member of this alliance. So once again, thank you so much. I look forward to our discussions.
Thank you so much, Jens. Thank you for your opening remarks. And now, after a short break, we will continue and we will start our plenary discussion. Thank you.